Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here, and today we're going to be discussing the quick ban of Landorus-I, Landorus-Incarnate from the SSOU metagame. That's right, the OU Council has voted to ban Landorus-I from OU effective immediately. So, what basically is happening here, we're having another individual quick ban from the metagame prior to having the player-based survey, which is going to help lead us in the direction for the future, be it through more quick bans or suspects or whatever it might be. I'd imagine that there might be another quick ban or two with things like Kieran Black and Zygarde lurking in the metagame as well, but hey, who knows what'll happen. Personally, I'm just going to go up front and give you guys my opinion on the entire metagame prior to getting into this post. It's completely my post, by the way. This is an unedited version. I didn't want to have the council's remarks or like potential edits happening right now viewed, so I just made a copy of the doc that I wrote up last night. But basically, I believe that Landorus-I is the most broken. However, Kieran Black and Zygarde, specifically Zygarde a bit more so, are very broken right now as well and probably deserve a ban. However, I really want to keep things like Nagirna and Cinderace, and even potentially Melmetal, although Melmetal is pretty strong as well, but we'll have to wait and see. In the tier, I really want to see a lot of strong, hard hitters to find the metagame. I'm really excited to see things like Latios and Latias pop up more. And the resurgence of Dragapult alongside Spectre to form a very potent duo of ghosts in the metagame, and so on and so forth. And I think there are going to be a lot of offensive options right now. Cinderace as well is a big thing, and I mean, between those guys and new introductions like Blaziken, which haven't seen problematic, Nasty Plot Tornadus 2, which is yet to gain traction, and eventually we're going to see more usage of the top boost, specifically Lele, which is still okay, and Coco, which can function as a pivot. All in all, I feel like we're going to see a lot of offensive proactivity in the metagame, and, you know, I think the knee-jerk reaction to see something like Landorus-I banned is that, okay, so you have one less offensive threat, bulky teams are going to get better. But right now, bulky teams are so centralized around countering Landorus-I. We've seen things like Calm Blissey, special defensive knockoff Mandibuzz, max special defense Mew, things like max special defense Celesteela, all special defensive Moltres with heavy duty boost is pretty common as well. I mean, it's just crazy. So all of a sudden, yeah, there's one less threat for those things to use, but also that leaves more room for other offensive Pokemon to be used as well. For example, we might see more Landorus-T and Garchomp, and I can't wait for Garchomp, not to mention Excadrill and Sand. And all these Pokemon serve more kind of double roles, if you will, and that Landorus was solely an offensive presence. It didn't check and counter much. Landorus-T is going to be able to check a ton of things. Garchomp checks things as well, like Heatran, for example, and so on and so forth. So in a way, it's actually going to be really good for bulky offense. I think it'll be worse for hyper offense, though. Landorus was really a stone cold killer on those teams. You guys might remember my Sticky Web team from that live. Those teams are definitely going to miss Landorus, but I think bulky offense is actually going to gain a huge advantage here. And as for balanced teams, they'll probably remain about the same. And Stolly teams, they're just going to look totally different. They won't be much better or much worse just because Landorus was already overcompensated for in all of them. We obviously haven't seen much stall besides a few games in Smogon Tour, though. Like on the ladder, I feel like we're seeing a ton of offense, and I highly doubt that's going to change. I do think we're going to see a bit more balance when things like Kieran Black and Zygarde might be put in the chopping block. I think Zygarde actually kind of forces more proactive offensive teams right now, so a potential ban of that could definitely kind of sway the status quo towards more balance. But I also think with Pokemon like Melmetal and Cinderace, Blaziken, Tornadus-T, all, forcing the hand of things, Spectre even, it's going to be hard to use super bulky teams. You kind of need some proactivity. You definitely need speed control, and ideally an offensive breaker of your own to punish opposing cores from just not sitting there. And I think the metagame is actually going to be in a really good shape once we get to, maybe one or two more bans, and we let the tier settle, and we still leave a lot more offensive Pokemon that were there than ever before this generation, which is what I'm super excited about. However, the topic of this video isn't about the metagame right now and the future of tiering the metagame so much as this is about Landorus-I. And this that we're looking at here is my personal, I wrote up the quick ban post for this quick ban because I was free last night, and I believe other people are going to give it some edits tonight. This is just a copy of it again. So these are just my words. This is not the collective council words, and there are probably going to be some edits put to it. Maybe not a ton, or maybe a ton. I'm not sure yet. Depends how much they want to hammer my writing, but I'm just going to go through it and explain why I believe that Landorus-I was broken, and it was pretty unanimous. There were some people that thought Zygarde or Kieran Black were more broken, which I completely understand. They're definitely in the same, same tier, if you will. But in my eyes, Landorus-I had to go, and I'm glad it's getting out of here. It was really ridiculous at 2 killing things like Blissey. So yeah, let me read through it here. Council voted ban on Landorus-I, effective immediately. I'm not going to read through it word by word, but rather I'm going to give like kind of a highlighted reading of it, if you will, so you guys really get the gist of it. So Landorus is your strength, muscle pass, even Asturdius is special wells. Yeah. So for example, let's go back to Blissey. Focus Blast from Modest is almost always 2 killing, and Focus Blast from Timid, it gives you like 48 on average, 49 on average, and you're going to get a lot of opportunities against something like Blissey. Those teams tend to invite Landorus a lot. So yeah. And Sheer Force is obviously what makes it as strong as it does with 115 base special attack, and it has a ton of different moves it could go for. That coupled with the fact that it isn't very frail at all, it's pretty average bulk, and it's quite fast with base 101 speed. And I know 101 is not what it used to be. This metagame has a ton of faster Pokemon added, like Tapu Koko and Spectrier and the Regieleki. So all in all, those Pokemon being quicker, although Regieleki can't really do much to it, is important. But still, Landorus is faster than more Pokemon than not, which can go a long way for a breaker like this. It's not like one of those real slow flat glass cannons that can really only work in like Trick Room, for example. So that goes such a long way for it, I would say. And I mean, regardless of the specific setup your team has, it's kind of naturally, forcing generic defensive walls to, be broken. Again, like Blissey. I mean, if you're running things like Corviknight, it's going to get 2-KO'd by Focus Blast if it connects. And I think a big part of it is an accurate Landorus is just so potent. Only like specially defensive Mandibuzz and Mantine and maybe short-term Latios or Moltres can do the trick for those. But yeah, no, you got to be careful. Sorry, just sipping my beverage. But anyway, so let's go into the specific moves that Landorus uses. Obviously, Earth Power is a staple, and we just alluded to Focus Blast being pretty good, hitting things like Mandibuzz, which can 2-KO non, like max special defense variants, Corviknight, which 2-KO regardless, Blissey and Celesteela. It's pretty important. It is a bit reliant on accuracy, I'll admit that, but still, it's able to get in, and it gets a lot of opportunities against those teams with those bulkier walls, which goes a long way. Sludge Wave is the most common tertiary move on it. Hitting grass types and fairy types, Tapu Bulu, Tangrowth, Rillaboom, and Finny are some examples of that. Also, it gets a lot of neutral coverage that on things that could 2-KO or otherwise it would check it, such as Tornadus-T, Zapdos, Buzzwole, which should be one-shotted, by the way, after a little bit of residual or with Psychic, and Latios, which is 2-KO'd mercifully by the powerful Landorus. And once you get past these three moves, though, there's a lot of leeway that you have. For example, you could run Rock Pox and be a sweeper, or utility moves like Stealth Rock, Knock Off, or even Substitute. Stealth Rock being able to chip things down in the long haul for Landorus and his teammates. Knock Off really obliterating things like heavy-duty boots checks, such as the aforementioned Mandibuzz and Blissey, whereas it also is hitting things like Latias super effectively as well. And in addition to that, Substitute can be used if you really want to ease prediction, especially with less Infiltrator Dragapult being around in this metagame, although I do picture a resurgence in Infiltrator Dragapult in the near future, especially once kind of people new Twitch syndrome of Spectre wears off. Although Spectre is here to stay, it's a really good Pokemon. In fact, it's one of the better Pokemon in metagame without a doubt. But Dragapult's also really good, and I think it'll eventually surge back up in usage. I also want to note that other options such as Gravity, Psychic, and potentially even other moves as well. I mean, I've seen U-Turn, I've seen Rock Slide. If they can all work, and yeah, you can only run 4 moves on Landorus, and yeah. Usually the first 2, if not, then definitely the first 2, maybe the first 3 are going to be there. But that 4th move slot does let you handpick your counter. So, for example, if you don't want to be walled by Mandibuzz and Blissey, you could run Knockoff with a reliable Stealth Rocker in the back. If you don't want to be walled by something like Mantine, you could run a Rock Slide. Also, it's Zapdos and Moltres. All of a sudden, nothing is able to, universally check and counter it. And that's such an important thing for Landorus-I in my eyes. That makes it even more over the top. Overall, what I look for when I'm trying to see, okay, does this Pokemon restrict team building? Does it warp the game we play? And is it too much for the tier? What can check it no matter what common set it runs? Obviously, there's some fringe sets that, okay, that's fair. And not many things can be, applied for multiple variants of Landorus-I. But okay, what can check the most common, the single most common variant? And yeah, there's 3 or 4 Pokemon you could say are checks, and maybe one counter, like especially defensive Mandibuzz or Mantine. Although Mantine's really fringe in the metagame right now. And the fact of the matter is, it's not enough in my eyes. So yeah, it's beatable, but is it consistently beatable in an efficient way? Is it going to end up getting 2 or 3 kills in a lot of games? Yeah, it is, and in my eyes, it pushes it over the top. So we're just going to go into a bit more detail here to make sure that everything's working. Yeah, it looks like everything's working. So while Landorus can be a complete terror kind of style, again, there are some checks to it. So again, let's go through those. Special defensive Mandibuzz is one. Moltres with heavy-duty boots is a good one. And Cresselia, which I don't really want to give much mention. People are like, Cresselia is a great special wall for Landorus, but it's so bad otherwise. It's susceptible to status, susceptible, to being knocked off. It can't really do much offensively itself. What Cresselia is good for is setting up Trick Room and using Lunar Dance, or screens in Lunar Dance, and that's about it. So on those teams, using Cresselia, or even Uxie, which can kind of be similar to Cresselia in a different way, if you will. Yeah, fine. Those Pokemon can keep it in check 2 or 3 times over. That's good for them, but I don't know if that's necessarily enough to keep Landorus in the tier 1. That's a very fringe archetype right there. So yeah, both Lotties can 1v1 Landorus without a doubt. They do have to be careful switching into Sludge Wave or Knockoff or U-Turn or whatever it might be that it runs in the 4th slot. But yeah, no, they still do fairly well. I definitely would count them as like kind of soft offensive checks, specifically Latios less so. And yeah, again, Blissey, but it needs a lot of special defense investment. And that's a special role with like Blissey, which is quite literally the bulkiest, especially defensive Pokemon that we've seen in regular usage in OU ever, of all time, period. And it's 2-killed by that Focus Blast, despite it being off stab. And that goes without saying how ridiculous it is. So yeah, not many Pokemon are able to wall it. It's really not sufficient counterplay in my eyes. So overall, Landorus being able to break a vast majority of the metagame offensively, all while being quick and durable enough to leave its mark on most battles, is enough for me in my eyes. While there are a handful of checks, even counters, they're really few and far between, with a lot of them being kind of fringe options in the metagame. Landorus really warps team building in the sense that you're kind of limited to use one of these Pokemon, and you've seen that in a lot of bulkier structures right now. But in addition to that, it also warps team building offensively, as you're forced to run an abundance of fast Pokemon or specific offensive cores as well, because you have to find a way to revenge kill and or force out and or simply check Landorus itself. And that alone is basically forcing you to use one of a very, very, very small pool of viable Pokemon on more offensive teams. And I hope that people recognize that, because honestly, as much as losing an offensive Pokemon, can directly benefit Stall, it also actually hurts offense, because offense is forced to run specific things itself. Not to mention, ground types the ground type metagame is so diverse right now, but Landorus clogging up all the usage also means that things like Garchomp, Landorus-T, etc., Drill, it also seeing less usage, and I'm personally really excited to see those Pokemon. That alone is not a reason to keep something banned or unbanned in the metagame, by the way. That's just a personal preference, but I do want to say that, we did see it at number 1 usage stats, and it was not for surprising. It's just that potent. It's just that strong. It really nukes things left and right. And if you thought the ladder usage was a ton, check out Smogon Tour over the weekend. Landorus was even more ridiculous. It was just a 2-hit kill machine, and not much that wasn't like boosted to super effective was able to take it out in 1 hit, and it was faster than a lot of things, and not many things kept it in check. And on paper, it's broken, and in practice, it might be even more broken in my eyes. So yeah, much like other Pokemon with quick ban, Landorus is able to take full advantage of its move pool, covering almost everything and doing so with great strength. Therefore, though, your council believes that Landorus-Incarnate is ban-worthy and will be banned from the OU metagame. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and I kind of had to phrase it as the council because it's going to be an official post, but obviously we're going to be making some edits to that. I'm going to leave that up to my fellow councilmen. Of course, we have a nice chat. We've got real good rapport amongst the group. I really love all my fellow councilmen. They're all great guys. So yeah, we're going to get to that more, and I'm just glad I can communicate this news to you guys. This video is going to go up once the ban goes up. Hopefully it won't happen when I'm at work tomorrow. Hopefully it happens tonight. It's Tuesday night at 6:42 when I record this. I'm about to go follow the election for the rest of the night. So unfortunately, we're going to get no live for Wednesday, but I'm going to be back to laddering every single day of the week starting on Wednesday, but you guys will be seeing it Thursday. And we're going to try and get 1 to 2 videos out every single day. I know there's a little lull Tuesday, Wednesday, but bear with me, guys. Let's get to 6,000 subscribers soon. If you guys want more instant updates on the channel, check out the Twitter, because I'm always going to be posting stuff there. I'm always interacting with fellow people there, and you can always hit up my DMs if you got any questions. Discord as well. We got over 800 people on our Discord server, and it's amazing. And again, Smogon or PS whenever you see me on. So yeah, it's really great that we're able to have this community that we have, and I hope you guys understand the rationale behind quick banning Landorus, but rest assured, guys, there's still a ton of really fun and cool options in the metagame, and if you want to see what those are, then A, stay tuned, and B, if you really want to know immediately, let me know in the comments, and I'll give you guys some examples in the comments below. I love engaging with you guys, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and drink some alcohol and follow the election the rest of the night. If you guys are underage, obviously stay safe. Don't necessarily do that, especially if, for whatever reasons apply to you. I'm not really here to give like an ethical lecture, but all I'm asking is everyone, no matter where you live, stay safe, guys. I really do care about all you guys, and it's been amazing growing this community, and it'd be a shame if anything happened to anyone, so I just want to be your guys' friend. I just want to remind you guys that, there's so many good things going on right now. That no matter what the hell's going on in the US or anywhere else, there's still Pokemon, and we've got a ton of fun Pokemon to cover in this channel. So thank you so much for supporting me and making this possible. And I really hope to continue bringing out quality content. So yeah, it's a little heartfelt ending there. I really didn't even expect to go to that. It just kind of happened. So sometimes that just, slips out. But yeah, no, I'm having a blast with this channel, guys. I hope you guys are too. So thank you so much, and have a great night. All right, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.